Hello, first graders. Today is Wednesday, April 29th. Just now we finished reading the story Night and Day. What we're going to do now is we're going to find this page in our packet. It has cause and effect. It has today's date on it. And what we're going to do is we're going to focus on cause and effect. Now remember, a cause is what makes something happen. So say it with me. A cause is what makes something happen. An effect is what happened. So say it with me. An effect is what happened. Miss Chan did not have her shoes tied, so she tripped and he skinned her knee. The cause was Miss Chan did not tie her shoes. Effect was I tripped and I skinned my knees. The cause was I forgot my house keys. The effect was I could not get into my house. All right, I'm going to try to practice one with you. Miss Chen is not careful with her coffee. What do you think might happen? The cause was Miss Chen was not careful with her coffee, so it spilled. That's a good effect. Another one would be pretend that you are hungry. What would happen? Good, you go get yourself a snack. Maybe you ask your grown-up for something to eat. So in fact, the cause was you were hungry. The effect was you asked the grown-up for a snack. Good. Right, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna look in our story and we're going to look for the effect. So the cause is Earth faces away from the sun. Where can I look for that in my story? Earth faces away from the sun. We're going to find out what happens on Earth. So I'm going to look in my story. And I'm going to look for the page, this page. And I picked this page because I remember the question asked me about Earth and the sun, and it was the first page I found that had a picture of the sun and had a picture of the Earth. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to read this story and I'm going to pay attention to something that answers that question. What happens when Earth faces away from the sun? Like all planets, Earth rotates or spins. Have you ever been on a merry-go-round? A merry-go-round rotates. Earth rotates once each day. When the part of Earth that we live on faces the sun, we have day. When the part of Earth that we live on faces away from the sun, we have night. Did we see something there that answered the question as to what happens when the Earth faces away from the sun? What happens? Good. Somebody said, oh, I see the sentence, Miss Chan. It's the very last one. I'm going to highlight it so that way it helps me find it. So it says, when the part of the Earth that we live on faces away from the sun, we have night. Good job. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to copy that in my packet. So it's going to say, we have night. And remember, if I'm going too fast, you can always pause the video. You can always go back and watch the video again. So the next one says, the moon travels around the earth. The moon travels around the earth. So what we're going to do is we're going to find out what happens when the moon is traveling around the earth. So I'm going to look in my story. And I'm going to look for things that talk about the moon, things that talk about the earth. And I remember that this morning we talked about the moon in our context clues lesson, so I'm going to look at this page. And also, I'm noticing that there is a picture of the moon here. There is also the word moon here, so that is going to tell me that this page is going to teach me more about the moon. So remember, as we're reading, we're looking for the answer for the question, what happens when the moon travels around the earth? Okay. We often see the moon at night. The moon is a round, rocky object that moves around Earth. As the moon travels around Earth, the moon appears in different places in the sky. The moon seems to change shape each night. So does it tell you what happens when the moon is traveling around Earth? Give you a couple seconds to look in the story to help you. That is true. Somebody said, oh, I see the word travels, and I'm going to read more to see what happens. So it says, as the moon travels around Earth, the moon appears in different places in the sky. So I'm going to highlight that sentence. And then it goes on to say, the moon seems to change shape each night. And I'm going to highlight that as well because it tells me what happens when the moon is traveling around the Earth. And I might have seen that at night sometimes. And that's also true if you've looked at the moon at night too. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy that in our packet. So we learned that the moon travels around the Earth, and then the moon appears. The moon appears. I'll zoom a little bit so you can see a little bit better. The moon appears to be in different places. And changes shape. So the moon travels around the Earth. The moon appears to be in different places and changes shape. Give you a couple seconds there to copy. And remember, if I'm going too fast, you can always pause this video. All right, so the last one says, the sun is the closest star to Earth. The sun is the closest star to Earth. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to find out what happens because the sun is the closest star to Earth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look in my story and I'm going to look for something that talks about stars. So here I see a lot of stars in this picture, and I see the word stars here. So I think this page is going to teach me about stars. So let's read. On a clear night, we may see stars in the sky. Stars are very hot. Stars glow because they make their own light. Stars seem small because they are very far away. Stars are much bigger than Earth. Many stars fill the sky. We could not easily count all the stars. So, first graders, did we find the answer to what happens because the sun is so close to the Earth? We did not. So let's keep looking. We often see the sun during the day. The sun is the nearest star to Earth. That tells us something about nearest star. Still, the sun is very far away. The sun is much bigger than Earth. Sometimes we see the moon in the sky during the day. The moon does not make its own light. The moon reflects light from the sun. And then here in the captions it also says we get light and warmth from the sun. We do not get light or warmth from the moon. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use this caption because it tells me more about the sun. It also tells me that because it's so close that we get light and warmth from the sun. So we're going to go ahead and copy that sentence in our packet. The sun is the closest star to Earth. We get light and warmth from the sun. So we get light and warmth from the sun. Alright, so that is the end of today's lesson. Remember, a cause is what makes something happen, and an effect is what happened. So the cause was Miss Chen forgot her backpack. What do you think might have happened? She probably forgot her homework. She probably forgot her laptop. Those are all possible effects. All right. So I will see you on Friday. Be safe, be kind, and don't forget to wash your hands. Love you guys.